Network Africa. Despite the South African Parliament, as President Jacob Zuma's State of the Nation address turned violent, and cultivation of olive oil dropped in Algeria due to high labor costs and lack of rain. Then a look at ad networks on our Africa Tech segment. Welcome to the last edition of the program for the week. I am DC Adebayo. Let's begin today's show in South Africa, where violence erupted at the parliament as the opposition tried to disrupt President Jacob Zuma's State of the Nation address. Members of the Radical Economic Freedom Fighters Party, all dressed in red, scuffled with security guards who ejected them from the chamber. Mr. Zuma had twice gotten on his feet, but had been shouted down by the EFF MPs. Outside the parliament, police used stun grenades to disperse opposition and government supporters. Mr. Zuma has been dogged by allegations of corruption and cronyism and widely criticized for his handling of the economy. Previous addresses by him have also been marred by MPs demanding his resignation.
A session of South Africa's parliament, convened for a keynote address by the president, descended into chaos on Thursday as far-left lawmakers brawled with orderlies after interrupting the speech, and the main opposition party walked out.
Mr. Zuma!
Deputies of the far-left Economic Freedom Fighters Party peppered the scandal-laden president with criticisms and questions for more than an hour, with the parliamentary speaker struggling to bring order.
Malema, please take your seat.
As the tensions worsened, more party members raised their voices, calling on President Zuma to leave.
You are a constitutional delinquent. You have to leave.
That's when the speaker had had enough and ordered security guards to escort the deputies out, prompting fists to fly. The brawl was the most violent faced during a Zuma speech. President Zuma's popularity has fallen after a series of scandals. An anti-corruption watchdog called for a judicial inquiry in November into alleged influence peddling in Zuma's government. President Zuma has denied the allegations.
The VOA's Anita Powell joins us from South Africa to take a look at this issue. Thanks for joining us, Anita.
Thank you.
So the use of over 400 soldiers didn't prevent the chaotic State of the Nation address. Now, what more can you tell us about the fighting at the South African Parliament?
Well, as you saw, it was a pretty dramatic event. It's nothing that we didn't expect. This has happened the last three State of the Nation addresses, including the last one. The opposition harangues the leadership, tries to prevent the president from speaking. Eventually, the speaker calls in guards to take them out. What was interesting that you probably didn't see was last night, after the EFF was carried out, live television caught a number of really terrible obscenities yelled on the floor of Parliament against members of one of the opposition parties. I can't repeat them, but they were quite awful and definitely not parliamentarian.
Well, it's also common knowledge that Mr. Zuma has been dogged by allegations of corruption and cronyism, and he's also been widely criticized for his handling of the economy. But was that enough reason for the EFF to shout him down?
Well, we're having elections in 2 years in South Africa. It's probably never too early to start making your point. The EFF campaigned years ago on a platform of trying to speak, bring power to the people. This is almost their job as a third party, as a troublemaker, to do this. They're just fulfilling their mandate and their promises. What they're trying to achieve is they say that they're trying to speak for the people of South Africa who are angry, just to delay him. I don't think they thought they were actually going to stop him from speaking, but they were trying to make a point, and it's a point that many South Africans appreciated.
Oh, Anita, you're in South Africa, and I'm sure you've been relating to some of the citizens, but how are they reacting to what happened yesterday?
Well, aside from the very obvious, really funny Twitter memes about it, I think that the best insult in South Africa now is "you're a constitutional delinquent." Aside from the humor, some South Africans are taking it humorously. A lot of people are disappointed and concerned about the state of South Africa's democracy. If the president can't get up and address his country, and remember, he's not addressing just Parliament, he's addressing the nation. If he can't do that, people are worried about the state of democracy in this country.
But it looks like President Zuma is never going to get on the good books of the opposition, and of course a large section of South Africa, just like you mentioned. But is there anything he can do at this time to help his popularity?
Wow. So it depends who you ask, I suppose. But the increasingly prevailing opinion is that yes, he could resign, and that's coming not just from the opposition, but from some pretty middle of the road analysts. There's a sense that Zuma has really disrupted the ANC, and perhaps it might be time for him to bow out. He doesn't show any indication that he's going to do that. But I don't know if there is much that he can do right now to help his popularity, short of maybe stepping down.
VOA's Anita Powell, thank you for your time, and of course, do have a great weekend.